Hey folks, David Tao with barbend.com. We are done with day one of stage one of the 2020 Reebok CrossFit Games. We are 4 events in. We have an updated leaderboard, so we're going to bring you that, as well as some fantastic performances, athletes that are in serious trouble when it comes to potential qualification for the finals in October, and perhaps most importantly, we're going to be talking from experts from around the globe to see what you need to know heading into the final day of competition at this stage. We will cut to the chase. The leaderboard, that's what you want to know going into day 2 on the women's side. In first place after 4 events, and the first athlete in CrossFit Games history to win the first 3 events of a Games is 3-time defending champion Tia-Clair Toomey of Australia. In second place of the United States, we have Brooke Wells, who is putting in a really consistent performance so far after a disappointing finish in the 2019 Games. In third place currently after 4 events, another American, Amanda Barnhart, also making up some great ground on events 3 and 4. In fourth place, Cara Saunders of Australia. She's an athlete that we were definitely watching out for. She took the 2019 season off. She had her first child. She is back looking fit as ever, and fantastically consistent performance so far through the first 4 events. And rounding out your top 5, also from the United States, Dani Spiegel. She was a rookie at the CrossFit Games last year, did not crack that top 10, but now she's looking very well poised if she can maintain her performance through the final 3 events of stage 1. On to the men. No surprise to see this name at the top of the leaderboard. That is Mr. Mat Fraser of the United States, the 4-time defending Reebok CrossFit Games champion, looking to make that the 5-time champ. He is taking a commanding lead into the second day of competition after 4 events. Hot on his heels, though, or at least relatively hot on his heels, because let's be honest, no one's really close to Fraser yet in this competition, is Noah Olson. And if you'll remember, Noah Olson finished second at the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games behind Fraser, and was actually someone who wore that white leader's jersey for a little portion of that event. So if anyone can catch Mat Fraser, a lot of people think it's Noah Olson. In third place, we have Braden Brown out of Australia. He was a rookie at last year's Games, looks to have really dialed in his performance on a lot of disciplines for 2020. Then we have Jeffrey Adler of Canada. And finally, Joona Koski of Finland, rounding out the top 5. But as we'll get to a little later in this broadcast, there are a few men really, really hot on Koski's heels, looking to crack that top 5 and punch their tickets to the finals in Aromas, California. So let's talk about some performances on events 3 and 4 that really stuck out. And we'll cover both the men's and the women's fields here. And for that, I have Ben Garvis joining us here in Brooklyn, New York. Ben, thanks so much for joining us. Performances that stuck out for events 3 and 4, what do you got?
Yeah, I'll say this. You really captured it with Tia-Clair Toomey. 3 event wins in a row, and she was looking fast. She was churning out reps for Damn Diane. It's hard to picture a world where she is not going to be okay after this weekend. I'd say Dani Spiegel, also really electric performance, a 3rd place finish in the row, put her in the top 5. She's headed into tomorrow, probably going to sleep great tonight. Some performances that I really struggled to watch today. Sarah Sigmundsdottir, 21st place in Damn Diane. We were hoping for better from her. We know that she has the capacity to do it, but it looks like it's not going to pan out this weekend. I'm going to call it right now. You may feel comfortable calling it right now. There are chances she can scrape something out, but it's just not looking good. I'm sitting here wondering what is happening to Sam Briggs. Going into the row, we expected Briggs to just tear it up. She has a great history with the row. She ended up tied for 6th place with Haley Adams. Now, one more athlete I am just incredibly excited about, and we've watched her a couple of times in the CrossFit Games. She is back again, and she is back with a vengeance, is Brooke Wells. She is in 2nd place heading into tomorrow. That's after a 3rd place finish in Damn Diane and a 5th place finish in the row.
So Ben, we started with the women there. For events 3 and 4 on the men's side, performances that stood out to you for better or for worse, what are they?
Yeah, much like Tia-Clair Toomey, I'm really thinking at this point that Mat Fraser is going to be just fine. Now, somebody who really blew it out of the water is Joona Koski. A 3rd place finish in Damn Diane has him 5th place overall headed into tomorrow. One of the other athletes that just did almost broke the rower in half is Roman Karenikov. 100 points Unfortunately, with those 100 points, he's still sitting at 22nd overall, so he has some work to do tomorrow if he wants to climb above that. I'm feeling really great about Chandler Smith and Patrick Vellner. Both of them, 6th place and 17th place for Chandler Smith, 8th place and 7th place for Patrick Vellner. They have clawed their way from a deficit back within striking distance, and they are ready to go tomorrow. If we see strong performances, they definitely have a great chance of getting into that final 5.
Now, Chandler Smith and Pat Vellner currently out of those top 5 spots, but they're 7th and 8th right now, and they're not that many points back. I mean, we're talking, a handful of points. We're talking one really good event and maybe not so good of an event for some of those men currently sitting in the top 5. So they're definitely within striking distance, and you have to imagine they're going to come out tomorrow really hungry because as of CrossFit's announcement on Friday night, they actually know where they're sitting on the leaderboard.
And because of the diversity that we've seen in these events where we see, an aerobic event paired with a strength event, there's been enough diversity that them being right in the middle of the leaderboard on these events, again, a 7th place, an 8th place, they still manage to climb, which means that if they can stay consistent tomorrow, that could still potentially be enough for them to continue to climb.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of folks further down on the leaderboard that need a series of event wins and some other things to fall their way. But Chandler Smith and Patrick Vellner, they just need to kind of have a few top 10 finishes, and they'll be within spitting distance and may see them crack that top 5. It'd be interesting to see if both of them can come back and crack that top 5 with 3 events left to go.
I know that would make a lot of pundits happy.
All right, Patrick Vellner and Chandler Smith, 2 athletes we're definitely watching. Appreciate that insight and that rundown, Ben. So to get some more context on what to look forward to in the final part of Stage 1 and actually moving forward over the next few years of competition, I talked to 3 experts from Australia. The first, Jeremy Austin. He's a 10-plus year affiliate owner and a member of the CrossFit Games commentary team. And he had something really interesting to say about athletes who, even this year, could potentially challenge Tia-Clair Toomey in the finals.
Cara could probably do something really amazing once she gets there. Amanda Barnhart has come storming back. She's done the 5th, 7th, and 3rd in the last 3 events. So she's on the way up. She could really push Tia as well. We saw her push her at the games last year as well. Other than that, I think we'll see Kari Pearce sneak into maybe the top 5. And dark horse for me, probably Hayley Adams now. The heavy front squat is out of the way and she has minimised the damage. So she's possibly one of the up-and-comers that could push Tia. It depends on what comes out, of course, though.
And while Jeremy doesn't think that Mat Fraser is going to be knocked off the podium this year, he does have 2 athletes he calls dark horses to potentially unseat Fraser as the fittest on earth in the next couple of years.
Look, I'd like to say Baden Brown. He's been a national champ for the last 2 years. He's doing very well at the moment. He's going to drop down after the handstand hold. We know that for a fact because it's not very strong. Has he done enough, or can he do enough in the other 6 events to minimise the damage? We'll have to wait and see. Jeffrey Adler on the way up as well in 4th, but Noah Olsen still kicking around, and Noah had obviously a great year last year, and I would love to see what he can do. But my dark horse coming through, Justin Medeiros, the 21-year-old from Fort Vancouver. He'll be one to watch. If not this year, then maybe the next couple of years. But I think Mat Fraser, look out. We just need more 1,000-meter row events, I think.
Moving into the handstand hold, I had to ask my friend Pip Malone what she thought the athletes could do in this event. Now, Pip is a multi-time CrossFit Games athlete, and she's actually represented Australia on the international stage in 5 different sports, including CrossFit and weightlifting. Here's what Pip had to say about the handstand hold.
Well, I was stoked when I actually saw that they put this in because I've been waiting for this to come up for a while now. I feel like the handstand has needed to progress at the elite level because obviously everyone can walk on their hands very well now, even people who don't have a gymnastics background. But I think a couple of the ex-gymnasts in there, we're going to see a few minutes. I think 3 minutes will be the standard for ex-gymnasts. So I'm calling it now. I might eat my words later, but I think that there's a few in there capable of getting between 3 to 5 minute holds. That's super tough mentally, and you're going to see some athletes that just thrive off that because, I mean, Tia-Clair Toomey is one example of that. She's just like, not just physically, but mentally, she just has her game down to a T. She knows that she's the only one that matters. And other people really struggle with that. They'd be struggling that they can't leaderboard and jumble up the points and try and figure out where they are and how many points they might need to sit in a certain spot. That would be really messing with their head, not knowing where other people are. I know personally that would mess with my head. I'm not going to lie. Especially if you do have holes, and if one of those workouts that's a major weakness for you comes up and you want to know, okay, where do I need to sit to get by in this workout, and you have no idea, you could end up rock bottom. So it would be very mentally tough.
Finally, I had to get some insight from Darren Coughlin. He's the director of the Australian CrossFit Championship, and he's coached a number of CrossFit Games athletes over the years. I asked Darren, is stage 1 of this year's CrossFit Games a good test of fitness?
Yeah, it is. I think it's pretty good. I think they've done a great job with what's available. I mean, it's COVID. We're lucky to have a Games at all. And to have what is essentially the open turbocharged, just to reconfirm that your open score is just as good with a strange judge there, somebody who's not familiar with you, I think it's a pretty good test of fitness.
So Darren thinks this is a good test of fitness, and if that's true, then Mat Fraser and Tia-Clair Toomey are extremely fit. But looking forward to the finals and looking forward in years ahead, does Darren think anyone can knock Mat and Tia off the podium? His answer actually surprised me.
They've been so successful and their support network is so tight that they truly are CrossFit's only male and female professional athletes. They don't have to worry about an income because they win, so they earn prize money. Their sponsorship packages support their lifestyle quite well. And good luck to them because they do the work and they get the results. It's akin to a Formula One series. You've got Mercedes winning. If you've got a bigger budget, you're going to get more results. So amateur athletes competing against professionals are never going to beat a professional. Never. And that's what we all want for CrossFit. We want professionalism, and this is it. Until somebody pays somebody to sit in a dark room and train all day, every day, no one's going to beat Tia and Mat.
A big thanks to Jeremy, Pip, and Darren from Australia. They bring some fantastic insight and experience at all levels of this sport. Really appreciate them taking the time, and we'll hear more from them tomorrow. Ben, I know you're a bit of a data nerd, and you found a workout from 2013, Naughty Nancy, that's actually very similar to Nasty Nancy, which is an event we're going to see here in day 2 of stage 1 of the 2020 CrossFit Games. There were 5 athletes who completed that workout in 2013 who are also competing this year. What's something interesting you found?
Yeah, absolutely. In 2013, Katrin Davisdottir was one of those 5 athletes, but she was a very different athlete that year. Last year, similar event, Ringer 2, didn't have this running element that we're going to see tomorrow, but Katrin Davisdottir won that event. So from 20th, 7-8 years later, to first place, we're expecting big things from her tomorrow.
Now, the workout I'm most excited to see on the weekend is actually the handstand hold. Athletes will be in a little box, and they just have to hold a handstand as long as they can with a 20-minute time cap. I'm not sure we're going to see any athletes challenging the edge of that cap, but who should we be looking out for?
Yeah, so digging back into the history, I looked at 3 events that had a handstand walk. That's obviously going to be the closest that we have because we have not seen a handstand hold at the CrossFit Games before. But looking back at those 3 events, there were 2 names that I saw consistently near the top for all 3 of them. That was Brooke Wells and that was Mat Fraser. Now, one athlete that we know struggles, and the last thing that he needs is to struggle with another event, is Brent Fikowski. He was finishing pretty consistently outside the top 20 on those events.
Now, Ben, that brings us to the final event of stage 1 of the 2020 CrossFit Games. That's Awful Annie. What do you got for me?
Yeah, this one's going to be really interesting. We really haven't seen a workout before where we had cleans heading into another movement that really jacks up the heart rate, in this case double unders. I looked at 6 different workouts with similar movements, and out of those 6, 5 times each I saw Katrin Davisdottir and Mat Fraser at the top. That's going to be fascinating to watch tomorrow.
Great insight. Really appreciate that, Ben. And if we learn anything from history to predict the next workout performances of the CrossFit Games, I'll call that a win for the nerds. There you have it. That's all the action after day 1 of stage 1 of the 2020 CrossFit Games. Now, there are only 3 events of the 7 events left, so we are more than halfway through the event. A lot of athletes right on that bubble. And remember, just the top 5 men and the top 5 women will advance to the finals in Aromas, California. That will be next month in October. So it's still a ball game. Besides Mat Fraser and Tia-Clair Toomey kind of running away with the field, the rest of the spots very much up for grabs. Really excited to see what pans out tomorrow. Until then, I'm David Tao. Thanks to everyone who joined this broadcast from barbend.com. We'll be bringing you more information tomorrow.